Here we are inside the Saints training facility, Saints training camp. Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, Kristian, Garic. I'll start with you, Mike. What stood out in day 2 here as we get closer and closer to pads going on?
Defense dominated today, and one guy in particular, Peyton Turner. Man, he had 2 moves. One was a power move, kind of a grab and pull, and he got inside. The other one was a speed. Man, he got right along the edge. He beat Gerald Hawkins with a bull rush. It almost just kind of ran over the top of him. The other part, too, was anytime they tried to run the ball inside, Kentavious Street, Malcolm Roach, 2 guys. Pete Jenkins talked to you and I about that. He had worked with in Dallas. Really was impressive. So I think, the highlight today to me was the defense dominated. Peyton Turner certainly stood out. On offense, Kirk Merritt, again, 2 big catches, one-on-one situations on a contested catches. And so he impressed me extremely well.
Bobby, as you start to look at this roster and you start thinking about if the Saints want to keep an extra tight end or a linebacker for the kicking game or a receiver even, could you make the case the Saints could go with 2 quarterbacks and Andy Dalton, obviously, and Jameis Winston as a starter, and put Ian Book on the practice squad?
Oh, well, without a doubt. I see that's what's going to happen. Because then, in emergency, you got Taysom Hill. So, no, I can see that 1-2 punch, Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, and Ian Book. They can still say, look, we want to develop you and just put you on the practice squad.
We need the spot. We need the roster
spot. I definitely can see that happening. And then you got Taysom Hill, who's actually played in a real NFL game at quarterback, so it just gives you an extra spot because if you're in a pinch, you can utilize Taysom that way. So, no, that's why I see the direction they're going. Yeah, I agree with Mike. Definitely the defense, had the edge. This is when Jameis needs to string a few practices together like Drew Brees would do, where, that's like 4 or 5 days in a row where it was clicking. Jameis was way better yesterday. I just looked 2 plays, and it was an under route to Jarvis Landry, an under route, and his feet were not right, and he a step and throw, and he threw it high. You can't miss those type throws. And then the other one was like it's right in his face. Paulson Adebo would have had a sack. It's like he didn't even see him. I'm like, whoa, that's not like the blind side. So those little bitty things, that's where they're going to go over in the film. And, it has to be second nature, where you can never miss that little underthrow, and then sack avoidance and knowing where your outlets are initially. He maybe got fooled, but Paulson Adebo definitely would have had a sack. And that should never happen if it's right in your face. Now you look at coach and player communication. I thought was interesting. Very Sean Payton, like, even though it wasn't Pete Carmichael or Sean Payton obviously not being around, but the tight end coach, Dan Rouser, all of a sudden, stop the drill. He's all over Kroll, the rookie.
Lucas Kroll.
Lucas Kroll out of Pitt, because his alignment. It wasn't like he didn't know what to do on the play, but just your alignment. And as a young player, that's why you have to know what to do. Dennis Allen said it. You got to know your assignment. And then also, you're only going 1 a day. You should be hell-bent for leather. Your coach should never challenge you as far as your effort. I was talking to you about this. This is interesting. Like Ryan Nielsen with Shai Tuttle. He's telling...
we can edit it a little bit. Just question.
Yeah, no.
Just
He
push
said,
it a little bit.
No. Like, your effort is BS. Come on. You don't want a coach day 2. You don't want your coach telling you that. You have to be motivated. You're going 1 a days. You got to be chomping at the bit. So it's just the little things, how you inspiring players and what you actually see in practice. Because you say treat every player the same. We say it all the time. That's not the real world.
That's not accurate.
Yeah. You have to, how you motivate players to push the right buttons. But I'll be interested to see tomorrow how the offense bounces back from the defense having a pretty good game day today.
One of the things, and it's a small deal, but they're looking for that other gunner to take Justin Hardy's place. Who did that exclusively with the first team unit? Marquez Callaway today. And so you pay a little attention to that. Marquez played a lot of special teams in college, played a little of it in the pros, but they're looking for that guy that can be that gunner. And Justin Hardy was terrific in that position, but the Jets paid him a ton of money to go there.
Bobby Hebert, Mike Detillier, Kristian, Garic join us on Sports Talk this afternoon. We sit down with Saints All-Pro offensive tackle Ryan Ramczyk.
Who that?